During the break, he was symptomatic, and so we tested him during the break, and he tested positive. My understanding is the symptoms aren't severe, but they were significant enough that Gino reached out to Stu, and so we'll see where it goes moving forward. But that's the timeline.
It's safe to say if he doesn't play tomorrow, it's very unlikely he would play in Ottawa given the border issue.
Yeah, I don't believe I don't think he can go to Canada just based on the protocol in Canada.
You've been there.
Yes, I have.
Same city.
Sully, some people, players, yourself, during the stretch there before the All-Star break, you talked openly and not without cause that the team was going to field 16 games in 29 days, 8 games in 13 days and everything. What's your message now coming out of this break?
Well, you know, that was just, I was just stating the obvious.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
just being asked about the workload, and you know, when you go through stretches like that, we quite honestly don't dwell on it because we can't control it.
Right.
And so, you know, it's our job to find ways to have success through the process. And so, and that's what we tried to do. You know, we're going to continue to do the same thing. You know, and my hope is that you know, that we've all had an opportunity to get away from the game a little bit and recharge our batteries, so to speak, and attack this second half of the season with a whole lot of enthusiasm and a whole lot of energy that I think our team is capable of playing with, and when we do, we're at our best, and that I think is going to be one of the objectives moving forward is to try to continue to play with the pace and the energy and the enthusiasm that we need to in order to put our very best game on the ice.
I'm sure Gino was disappointed, but I mean, you, as a team, you guys have been through this before. You haven't stepped into bigger roles before. I guess just what's this opportunity going to mean for him, and just your confidence in the guys you have to kind of get through this little bit of the stretch here without him, without Teddy.
So, you know, obviously we're disappointed. We feel like we're a better team when Gino's in our lineup. That's for sure. And you know, and it's important for Gino to get some traction with his own game, having missed the amount of games that he's missed already to this point. So, but as far as you know, the guys that we will put in the lineup, this isn't anything that we haven't dealt with all year, and so, you know, we're fortunate to have the versatility in our lineup that we can move guys around, and guys are going to get opportunities to play more significant minutes in other situations, and our challenge is to find ways to have success. And for the most part, I think our players have really stepped up in that regard. When an important player or 2 or 3 or 5 go down, then other guys have an opportunity to step up, and that's how we look at it. So we feel like we have a deep roster. We feel like we have a versatile roster in the sense that we can move guys around positionally, you know, especially at the forward position, and that's what we'll have to do here. But we believe we have capable guys.
Well, Evan was on that hot streak, and it halted really when Gino came back into the lineup. Was that strictly coincidental? Was that a matter of him just not having quite the same opportunity? And what did you see in his game in the last 10 or 12 games, even though he hasn't been scoring?
I think it's probably more coincidental than anything. You know, Erod's playing a lot of significant minutes. You know, obviously when Gino's in our lineup, he's not necessarily on our first power play, and when our first power play, as you guys know, gets the lion's share of the minutes, and so that's really probably the only aspect of Erod's game when Gino's in the lineup that it may affect. I think otherwise, you know, we've moved Erod all around our lineup in the first half of the season, and he's thrived no matter where we put him. If we put him on the wing, he's done really well. If we put him at center, he's done really well. We really liked him in the middle, and so you know, he's very capable there. He's still getting a lot of opportunities. The puck hasn't gone in the net for him as much, but we believe it will. You know, he's a good player. He's got good offensive instincts. he always, every time I walk away from a game and the next day when I'm breaking the film down, you know, I always walk away saying, you know, he makes a half a dozen really good plays that potentially, you know, end up either in goals or grade A scoring chances for our team. And that's the impact that I think Erod has on our team. He has real good offensive instincts, he has good playmaking ability, and he has some finish. And so, you know, we've just preached to him just playing the game the right way, and you know, he's well aware that he hasn't scored here in the last little while, and he puts a lot of pressure on himself to do so. So we're just trying to help him through that process, and my experience has always been that when players go through those bits of struggles, that, you know, taking the focus off of the goal scoring and just trying to play the game the right way, it's amazing how, you know, how opportunity presents itself when you do.
Mike, I saw Puustinen do things in your training camp that I didn't see your other prospects doing. He seems to have a natural sense for offense, not just the finish, but the rest of the rink here. What's the report that you've gotten on him, including his maturation? Because the AHL can, it's a step.
It is, and we're thrilled with Pusty's game and his overall development to this point. You know, I had a real good conversation with JD during the break about a lot of the players down there, but Pusty in particular, and I've talked to Hexie a lot over the last little while, and everyone that is watching Pusty is really excited about his development to this point. You know, he come over here, gets thrown into training camp, and I'm sure that first experience is an eye-opener for players, and I don't think Pusty was any different in that regard. But we recognized his instincts right away, and his skill set, and so he's a guy that we're excited about, that we think potentially can play the game that we're trying to play in Pittsburgh, and he's done very well in Wilkes. And, you know, he's got 13 or 14 goals now.
Yep.
He's got 28 to 30 points in that range, and he's a guy that's playing on both sides of the puck. So it's not a situation where guys go down and watch him. And I had this conversation with Hexie the other day. You know, Pusty doesn't get a point, but he likes his game. He likes his game because he's having an impact on the game. And so we know he's got the offensive instincts, but he's also he's developing his overall game. You know, his wall play, his defensive responsibilities, his play away from the puck, all of those things that for us are so critical for players to be able to make the jump to the NHL level. You know, he's in much better shape now than he was when he came to training camp, and I think he deserves a whole lot of credit for that, how hard he's worked with the strength and conditioning guys in Wilkes and the coaching staff down there, and his nutrition and his diet, and all of those things that we preach to our young players to control in order to put themselves in the best position to be successful. And so, you know, you can see him now, he's visibly in much better shape now than he was when he came to training camp. And part of that's just an education process for a young player. And so, you know, he's going through that process right now, but everyone is ecstatic with the development that he's shown to this point, and we're excited about potentially where he could go moving forward.
Like, yeah, Drew and Danton joined the team in practice today. Is there anything holding them back from being available at this point?
So Danton participated in full capacity, so he'll be a game time decision tomorrow. Drew is still limited capacity out there, and so he will not play tomorrow. But the fact that he's joining the team and just taking that step, I think is a big step for him. And so we're obviously encouraged with his progress, but he will not play tomorrow.